Hey everyone, welcome to Plants and Politics. So one of Trump's capital terrorists took a plea deal today. So it's time for an update and a Plants and Politics episode of Where Are They Now?
Matthew Bledsoe was arrested.
Patrick Montgomery was in court.
Jonathan Manapa will stay in federal custody.
No, I don't take responsibility at all.
So you may remember Paul Hodgkins. If you're on YouTube, I've included a photo of him. If you're listening on a podcast, this was the guy with long, dark hair and a goatee. I know that describes a lot of them. But he was carrying a Trump flag. He was wearing a Trump shirt. He was seen in photos and videos on the Senate chamber floor. He was close to, like right in front of the QAnon shaman. That's the guy with the horns that was draped in animal skins. So Hodgkins is 38 years old. He lives in Florida, and he was seen in the Senate chamber. He was taking pictures of documents on senators' desks, and then he put on latex gloves and he was rifling through their paperwork. He is, as so many of them are, one of the geniuses who posted selfies on Parler, and that led to his arrest on February 16th. He was subsequently indicted on 5 counts, and he was looking at up to 23 years in prison. That was the maximum penalty. But apparently he agreed to a plea deal. So here's the news. Here's the deal. Prosecutors agreed to drop 4 misdemeanor charges against him if he agreed to plead guilty to the most serious and 1 felony crime out of the 5. So that's what he did. Hodgkins pleaded guilty to obstruction of an official proceeding, which carries a penalty of up to 20 years in prison. However, federal sentencing guidelines suggest a prison sentence of only 15 to 21 months. So yes, you heard that right. Just over a year to just under 2 years. Hodgkins was also on the hook for fines ranging from $7,500 up to $75,000. His attorney said that they plan to seek a reduction, so they're going to ask that the judge drop that to $2,000 because he claims that that's the portion of the damage caused by his client. His attorney also said, quote, "There's no justification for January 6th. That's why he is standing up and entering a plea of guilty. He acknowledges what he did wrong, and there's no excuses for it. Paul is an Eagle Scout with no prior record, a working Joe who was a crane operator at a steel processing plant." And he also claims that Hodgkins only spent 15 minutes inside the Capitol, which I find hard to believe. His case will be settled out in July, so just next month, and it's going to set the bar. It's going to set the bar for all cases moving forward, and it's bound to influence other capital terrorists who are considering a plea deal. I mean, if they're looking at decades in prison and they see this guy get a slap on the wrist, they might opt for the plea deal and just bite the bullet. Now, admittedly, Hodgkins didn't assault any officers. He didn't break anything. But if they let him off after only 15 months, this is going to absolutely encourage future violence. It's going to encourage further disruptions at the Capitol. Anytime someone doesn't like what was done, this is what we're looking at. It's going to send the entirely wrong message. And I don't think Republicans are thinking this through, because you set this standard, you set this precedent, and that means that people on the left are going to get the same entitlements. And I understand that these prosecutors have a lot of cases to work through, and it's daunting, but you can't be too busy for justice. We're either a nation of laws or we're not. Hire more prosecutors temporarily if need be, but don't set a precedent that's going to end in violence. It's not if, it's when. Some of these officers who were there that day are never going to be the same. If they let him off with like 15 months in prison, that is a slap in the face to every one of those officers there. One lost the vision in his eye, others sustained traumatic brain injury, and one died, for God's sake. And this guy who broke in and made it all the way to the Senate chamber might get off with somewhere around a year in prison and a minuscule fine. Fuck that. No. It's one thing if he was one person, but he was part of an aggressive, violent, terroristic style mob. They knew what they were doing. They knew the terror that the people inside that building were feeling. They did it to terrorize the people in that building. So they're literally going to be setting this country up for more of that. Every time these lunatics don't like the outcome of an election or a bill that's being passed, this is what we have to look forward to. But as I always say, people on the right, you may think, oh, this is great news for us. When the shoe is on the other foot, I don't want to hear your bitching and whining. I don't want to hear it. And for all these people out there who say this wasn't perpetrated by people on the right, this was Antifa, this was BLM. So are you okay with that then? Are you okay with these Antifa and BLM people who pretended to be Trump supporters getting off with a slap on the wrist? Yeah, that's what I thought. I'll keep you guys posted. I'll let you know when I hear more. Thanks so much for watching and listening. Take care, and I'll talk with you soon.